could anyone who helped babies get out of their mother's belly be a witch? Besides, as well as birthing the babies, Maman was our healer woman, which is a truly unwicked thing to be. I was still afraid, though. My heart skipped, and I held my breath, waiting to see if Maman would get up and walk out of the church. But nobody moved. Not a single person left Saint-Antoine's. The fear faded. There were no wizards or witches at all in Lucy-sur-Vion. Grégoire also said our mother was an angel maker. I glanced across at Maman and felt all warm inside. How lucky I was to have a faiseuse d'ange mother. I hoped when I was grown up, Maman would teach me how to make angels too, like she was teaching me to read and write. Maman said if I was to succeed in this harsh world, I must learn the letters, and I looked forward to the end of our day in the fields when she'd read from Les Fables de Jeanne de Valois-con-woman. Exciting tales of snakes, dragons, princesses, and treasure. I dreamed of finding that glittery treasure for myself one day. She said now I was 6, I was old enough to turn the pages, so gently, fearful of damaging them. I flipped over each page, staring at the words, which were like magic. I could never imagine being able to understand them. Mass went on too long and was mostly boring, but I didn't mind being inside the church. I loved the rainbow of colors that danced on the walls in the sun, the smell of candle wax, and the cool flagstone floor. There were statues in each corner, with shiny golden curves and colorful paintings hanging on the walls. The biggest one was of Jesus nailed to the cross, blood dribbling down his hands and feet where the nails were stuck in. There were others of naked women showing their bosoms, with cloth covering the part nobody is supposed to see. I jumped at the first crack of thunder, far away across the wheat and cornfields. From my spot in the last pew, I stretched my neck to look at the congregation before me. The farmers did not get up and run from the church, so this could not be a storm to worry about, even though the gray cloud made shadows behind the colored windows. I twisted around and looked behind me, through the open door, as the first raindrops wet the cobblestones. I remembered I wasn't supposed to move, and turned back towards the priest. I swung my legs and looked up at my favorite painting, a man with a long beard and brown robes. He held a stick with a bell on the end, and a pig sat at his feet.
Saint Antoine, patron saint of our church, was a hermit monk who embodied all virtues, Père Geoffroy once told me. The pig represents his victory over the demon of gluttony.
I did not know what the gluttony demon was, but it must be something as terrible as the speckled monster sickness that ate your face away, or blinded or killed you. Maman leaned across my twin brother and sister. Pay attention, Victoire. Stop your dreaming. I wished I could still stand next to my mother in church and clutch the warm hand that used to hold mine before Félicité and Félix came. My father always stood at the end of us, my older brother Grégoire, me, the twins, then Maman, watching to make sure we didn't fidget, which was forbidden in church. Papa said each time we behaved badly in church, we drove the nails of the cross deeper into our Savior's flesh. I didn't want that to happen, so I looked back at Père Geoffroy, whose voice still boomed from the pulpit.
We simple folk must rid ourselves of these superstitious notions. Amulets, evil eyes, exorcisms at full moon. It is my duty to dispel such heathen beliefs that persist hundreds of years after the establishment of our Christian religion.
Père Geoffroy's voice grew louder and he shook his fist. I never understood what our priest seemed angry about, but I lowered my eyes like everyone else and sat as still as a cat watching a mouse. Père Geoffroy was blessing the sheep when the first lightning lit up the church like 1,000 candles. Everyone jumped and glanced outside. The goats bleated, the cows mooed.